Love my delicious coffee, well you know I love you so. Soon as I finish this one, I'm gonna give me some more. When I wake up in the morning now.
Being a teacher for, over 10, 12 years, and getting to work with all these creative, different people and just guiding them a little bit here and there. It was a big change for me when I first started teaching, because I basically had to give up painting for 3 years at least, which I was doing 12 hours a day at that point, because I had to focus only on curriculum and teaching the classes and building the tenure portfolio and all the kind of things that you have to do when you first start as a teacher. Well, musically, what I play is American roots music. Where I'm drawing from is traditions that came about in this part of the world, from people that came here from all over the world. Great uncle and my grandfather, who during the Great Depression left town and went to find work, and they were 12 and 14. My great grandmother, was raising the kids, and what else are you going to do, when you're in that situation? And that's what a lot of that art is about. A lot of those songs are about when you get to that point where there's nothing else you can do. It's not like maybe they wanted to do it, but so they jumped trains, and because they were underage, they eventually got picked up by the police, and they were put into the CCC camps, which was part of the stimulus of that period. Basically, as a lot of folks had to do, they took things into their hands, and maybe they left the area in which they were living because of whatever happened. They lost a farm, or there was a dream that in California you could pick fruit and make money and feed your family and all that good stuff, or in the next town over it might have been better, or maybe it was just a wanderlust, which I currently have had and can't get out of myself. Anyway, and so in that day people jumped on trains.
Well, it's cold outside, and I lost my way. Well, it broke down and cried, and the words he said, I'm leaving tomorrow on a train.
And so I began doing elongation with figures. The question was about the hands, and that was something that came on in the 90s when I was younger and was working with, and in some kind of way it helps me to express that person's maybe strength in some cases, or power, and depending on the series, that elongation actually had a great amount of meaning to the content of the work. And then in recent years with the Soul Yard series, I kind of pulled the hands back a little bit, the fingers, because the musicians, can't necessarily play an instrument with a finger that's going on, but it was more about the expressions on their faces, their body posture, things like that would somehow convey this feeling that they are truly feeling something inside, or feeling something that other folks are feeling, and then they're reflecting it back through their music. Being a teacher, you have a certain responsibility, in class to uphold a certain exterior, which I usually tried to be a little more personable than that, and I try to get into my students' heads, and like I said before, I don't teach them, I want to help them. I want to lead them to a path that they've never seen before, and then they can choose, and so I'm going to continue to do that.
Love my delicious coffee, well you know I love you so.